Ousmane Dembélé has staged one of football's most remarkable comebacks. Once dubbed a chronic headache at Barcelona, he now stands on the brink of the greatest individual honor in football, the Ballon d'Or. When he left Borussia Dortmund for Barca in a near-record transfer, expectations were massive. But for almost a decade, his career was riddled with injuries, inconsistency, and criticism. That all changed in the 2024-25 season. With Kylian Mbappé gone, Dembélé stepped out of the shadow and became PSG's driving force. Paris Saint-Germain won a historic quadruple, and Dembélé's performances in the Champions League were a revelation. With consistent numbers and praise from UEFA, he is now one of the top contenders for football's biggest prize. Dembélé's 2024-25 campaign was not a sudden explosion. It was a result of physical preparation, experience, and maturity. For the first time in years, he completed a full season, playing 49 matches for PSG, scoring 3 goals and providing 15 assists. He clocked 3,290 minutes, not as a flashy winger, but as a key figure in Luis Enrique's high-intensity pressing system. In Ligue 1, he scored 21 goals and added 8 assists in 29 appearances. In the Champions League, he registered 8 goals and 6 assists in 15 matches, enough to place him among the tournament's top contributors. His real value, however, was in timing. Opening goals, game-breaking dribbles, decisive passes. Dembélé didn't just contribute, he changed games. If Ligue 1 was where Dembélé built form, the Champions League was where he became a star. His journey began with a crucial goal in PSG's comeback win over Manchester City in the group stage. He followed that with a hat-trick away at Stuttgart, earning him headlines across Germany. But it was in the knockout rounds where Dembélé truly rose. He scored the only goal at Anfield to knock Liverpool out, a moment that silenced one of Europe's most iconic stadiums. Then delivered vital goals and assists against Aston Villa and Arsenal. And in the final, though he didn't score, he made history, becoming the first player since Marcelo in 2018 to record 2 assists in a Champions League final. 14 total goal involvements this UCL season. Only Karim Benzema had more in a single campaign for a French player. And Benzema won the Ballon d'Or that year. Dembélé's impact this season is not just about numbers. He wasn't just PSG's most productive player, he was their most decisive. While others had flashes, Dembélé made the difference in the biggest moments. What makes his case special is versatility. He played wide, dropped into midfield, defended deep, and connected all attacking lines. He wasn't just a winger, he was a tactical leader. Under Luis Enrique, PSG no longer revolved around a single star. The team became a unit, driven by energy and discipline, and Dembélé was its engine. He supported Hakimi's overlaps, opened space for Barcola and Doué, and linked midfield to attack. He became the core of a fluid, pressing, selfless team, the opposite of the image many had of him at Barcelona. UEFA named Ousmane Dembélé the 2024-25 Champions League Player of the Season, and it was no ceremonial title. This recognition was the result of consistent excellence. In the technical report by UEFA's panel, including Roberto Martinez and Rafa Benitez, Dembélé was praised as the pressing leader, someone who dominated the midfield space through intelligent movement. He was a constant tactical threat. Beyond the MVP award, Dembélé was also named in the Champions League Team of the Season, alongside teammates Vitinha, Hakimi, Donnarumma, Marquinhos, Nuno Mendes, and Doué. But the strongest endorsement came from Luis Enrique himself. Ousmane deserves the Ballon d'Or, not for his goals, but for the difference he made all season, said the PSG coach. In a year with no Euro, no Copa America, and no World Cup, the Champions League was the ultimate stage, and Dembélé owned it. This year's Ballon d'Or debate features familiar names. Lamine Yamal, Barcelona's 17-year-old sensation, delivered an outstanding season, 19 goals, 26 assists, and a masterclass performance in the Champions League semi-final. But while he dazzled, he did so within a creative system, not as its creator. Barcelona won La Liga, Copa del Rey, and Supercopa, but fell short in Europe. Tactically and decisively, Yamal still trails behind Dembélé. Even Rafinha had better stats, 39 goals and 25 assists. Mohamed Salah led Liverpool to the Premier League title with 36 goals and 24 assists, numbers worthy of recognition. But Liverpool's early UCL exit and no domestic cup success weaken his case. In a Ballon d'Or year without major international tournaments, club results matter most. And no one delivered more, at bigger moments, than Dembele. Kylian Mbappé had long been seen as France's next Ballon d'Or winner. In his first season at Real Madrid, he scored 43 goals and won the European Golden Boot. But Real Madrid's season ended in disappointment, losing La Liga to Barcelona and exiting the Champions League at the quarterfinals. Mbappé's goals lacked glory. Without team trophies, his numbers felt isolated. Even breakout stars like Victor Gyökeres with 54 goals for Sporting, or Harry Kane's brilliant Bundesliga form, couldn't match Dembele's Champions League influence. The Ballon d'Or is about impact and timing. Dembele was there when it mattered. The Champions League defined 2024-25, and no one defined the Champions League like Dembele. Immediately after PSG's 5-0 destruction of Inter in the final, headlines from across the world proclaimed him the frontrunner. Goal.com placed him atop their Ballon d'Or rankings. OneFootball praised him as the architect of PSG's historic run. Dembele didn't need a goal in the final to make the world stand in awe, they wrote. Media from India to France hailed his leadership, creativity, and unmatched timing in big games. Even fans, once skeptical, now rally behind him. For many, Dembele is no longer the injury-prone disappointment at Barcelona. He's the face of a new era, the emotional hero in PSG's greatest moment. Dembele's rise isn't a flash in the pan. It's the result of years of pain, recovery, and persistence. He was once labeled the flop of the century after joining Barcelona. Now, he's the heartbeat of PSG's finest hour. From being written off in every major award race, he's now at the center of the Ballon d'Or conversation. And with no international tournament to skew votes, the Champions League will be the decider. Unless something extraordinary happens at the Club World Cup, the Ballon d'Or 2025 seems almost settled. It's 99% done. And the football world is simply waiting for the official coronation. Throughout the season, Dembele evolved from a support player to a central figure in PSG's tactical identity. Unlike his earlier years, he didn't chase highlight reels. He focused on execution. He adapted to pressing schemes, worked in defensive transitions, and orchestrated tempo changes during tight matches. His link-up play with midfielders like Vitinha and Zaire Emery showed vision beyond raw skill. What impressed analysts most wasn't just his speed or dribbling, it was his decision-making. For a player once considered unreliable, Dembele became one of Europe's most dependable performers. He turned criticism into character and inconsistency into influence. That transformation is what gives his Ballon d'Or case such power. It's not just about peak performance, it's about a complete reinvention. Luis Enrique deserves credit too. He didn't try to rebuild PSG around a new superstar. Instead, he trusted a player who many had written off. In return, Dembele gave him everything: endurance, discipline, and brilliance. PSG's success this season is a blueprint for modern football. Trust the system, build cohesion, and elevate players who commit. Enrique's approach turned Dembele from an enigma into an engine. He didn't try to create a new Messi, he empowered the squad. And in that system, Dembele became the most complete version of himself. It's no longer just about the numbers, it's about leadership, resilience, and rewriting a legacy. When the Ballon d'Or 2025 winner is announced, it will be more than just an award. It will be a symbol. If it's Dembele, it marks one of the most inspiring revivals in football history. From injuries and doubt to domination and trust, his journey reflects more than football. It reflects patience, growth, and redemption. In a season without the noise of international tournaments, the Champions League spoke loudest. And Dembele, more than anyone, made it his stage. The world is watching, the votes are casting, and the name that echoes loudest at 99 cent is Ousmane Dembélé.